Carol, thank you so much for being here today. I want to start right off with a moment that is truly shocking. You ended up in the emergency room. I did, and I was terrified. Your heart was racing, and you felt like you were going to pass out. And the crazy part is, it was not from eating junk food.
No, it was actually because of my daily, quote-unquote, super healthy green smoothie.
A green smoothie.
Which sounds completely impossible, right? It happens so much more often than you would think.
And that right there is a quiet warning for millions of people watching this right now. If you are over 50 and you are trying to do everything right,
Just like I was.
exactly, you are eating clean and choosing salads. But you still wake up feeling puffy.
Or you are completely exhausted by 3 in the afternoon.
Right, or maybe you are getting up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom.
People think that is just aging, but it is not. You might actually be feeling the silent effects of this exact same hidden mistake.
And that is exactly what we are going to uncover in the next 25 minutes. Dr. Lee, you are going to reveal why some of the healthiest vegetables in our fridges are silently stressing our kidneys.
Yes, I will share the 5 specific vegetables you really need to be cautious with after 50.
I just wish I had known that list a year ago.
But it is not all bad news, right?
Not at all. We are also going to show you the 5 vegetables you should embrace instead.
Foods that will actually help you feel lighter and more energetic. Because this conversation is not about fear.
It is about reclaiming your energy and vitality.
Exactly. It is about understanding your body so you can support it the right way. Stay with us. Carol, before we get to that terrifying moment in the emergency room, I want to take a step back. What did your day-to-day life actually feel like before that happened? What were the small things you were noticing?
It was honestly very subtle at first. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed and taking my socks off at night. I would see these deep indent lines left on my ankles. My shoes just felt a little too tight by the afternoon.
Like your body was holding on to extra water.
Exactly. And the mornings were really tough, too. I would look in the bathroom mirror, and my eyelids just felt so heavy. My face looked puffy, almost like I was a different person.
That is so relatable for so many people watching right now. It completely drains your confidence before you even leave the house.
It really does. But the absolute hardest part was the physical fatigue. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was completely drained. I love working in my garden, but I just had no energy left for it.
Were you having trouble sleeping at night too?
Oh, constantly. I had to get up 2 or 3 times every single night to use the bathroom. I never felt fully rested the next day.
How did you explain all of this to yourself? Because you were doing the right things, right?
I was trying so hard. I had cut back on red meat. I was drinking my big green smoothie every single morning. So I just chalked all those symptoms up to getting older. I told myself, well, I guess this is just what 62 feels like.
You just accepted it as your new normal. I think millions of people over 50 tell themselves that exact same story.
If I may jump in here, Carol, hearing you describe this is incredibly common in my practice, but it is also deeply misunderstood. The puffiness in the morning, the swollen ankles, that afternoon exhaustion, and especially the frequent nighttime urination you mentioned. Those are not just normal symptoms of aging.
They aren't?
No, they are silent alarms. You see, your kidneys are like your body's master filtration system. When they start to struggle, they rarely scream out in pain. They whisper to you through these very subtle physical changes.
So her body was desperately trying to tell her something was wrong.
Exactly. Your body was sending very clear signals that it was struggling with a heavy burden. A burden coming directly from those quote-unquote healthy habits.
Wow, I had absolutely no idea my kidneys were even involved in how tired I felt.
And that is the truly scary part, isn't it? Because that invisible burden was silently building up inside you day after day, until it finally reached a breaking point. Carol, tell us about that afternoon in the yard with your grandson. So all of these subtle signs were quietly building up in the background. But then there was that specific afternoon that changed everything. You were out in your own backyard. You had drank your big green smoothie that morning. You were feeling like you were doing the absolute right thing for your body.
Exactly. I actually felt pretty good when I woke up. My little grandson was over to visit. He was chasing a bright red ball across the grass. I just jogged a few steps to catch up with him. And suddenly, the whole world just started to tilt.
To tilt? Like you were getting dizzy?
It was so much worse than just being dizzy. My heart was not just beating fast. It felt like it was hammering erratically against my chest. It honestly felt like it was going to pound right out of me.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
I was completely paralyzed with fear. I had to grab onto the nearest patio chair just to keep from collapsing. I could not catch my breath at all. But you know what the absolute scariest part was?
What was it?
It was seeing the look on my grandson's little face. He stopped running and just stared at me with wide eyes. He knew something was very wrong with Grandma. It broke my heart completely.
I am so sorry you had to experience that, Carol. To feel so completely out of control in your own body is a horrifying thing, especially when you thought you were taking such wonderful care of it.
That was the most frustrating part. My daughter rushed me to the emergency room right after that. I was sitting in that hospital bed just crying. I genuinely thought I was having a major heart attack.
And the doctors ran blood tests, I assume?
They did, and the results were a huge wake-up call for me. The doctor told me my potassium levels were dangerously high for my specific situation, and it was putting an enormous heavy burden strain on my heart and my kidneys.
From vegetables.
Yes, from my daily spinach and kale smoothies.
And that is the exact paradox we need to unpack right now. Because it turns out, the very thing you thought was helping you was actually the trigger. Dr. Lee, I want to bring you in here. Hearing Carol describe that terrifying moment in the yard. Exact second. What was that super healthy smoothie actually doing to her system?
It is a textbook physiological response, unfortunately. Her body was reacting to a massive, sudden internal overload. What people do not realize is how certain vegetables behave when they are liquefied. It completely changes the structural rules of how your kidneys have to process them.
This is the question millions of people are asking right now. Because they are drinking these exact same smoothies every single morning. Dr. Lee, please break this science down for us. So, Dr. Lee, we left off at this truly terrifying moment for Carol. She is drinking a green smoothie, thinking it is the ultimate medicine for her body. What exactly caused her heart to race and her system to crash like that?
To understand that, we need to picture how your kidneys actually work after age 50. Think of your kidneys as a really efficient but slightly older coffee filter. It still works perfectly fine for a steady, gentle drip. But it simply cannot handle a massive, sudden bucket of water and grounds poured over it all at once.
So my morning smoothie was that sudden bucket.
Exactly, Carol. Certain popular health vegetables, like raw spinach and kale, are packed with specific compounds. I am talking specifically about oxalates and potassium. Now, when you eat a normal salad, you have to chew it. That chewing process means those plant compounds are released very slowly into your bloodstream. It happens gradually over several hours. Your older kidney filter handles that gentle stream easily without any stress.
That makes perfect sense. So what changes when you put it in a blender?
Everything changes. When you put those same greens into a high-speed blender, you completely shatter the plant cell walls. You are unlocking all of that potassium and dumping it into your system instantly. It is no longer a gentle stream. You are dumping a high-potassium, high-oxalate flood directly into your body.
Wow. So it goes from being a slow, safe release to an instant, overwhelming flood.
Precisely. That massive, sudden spike in potassium in your blood is exactly what caused your heart to hammer, Carol. And behind the scenes, your kidneys were forced into an emergency overdrive, trying to clear that flood. That is the hidden burden we are talking about.
I was literally shocking my own system every single morning, thinking I was healing it.
You were, but you are definitely not alone in doing that.
So the healthy ingredient itself is not the enemy here. It is the delivery method, combined with the natural age of our internal filters. So, Dr. Lee, what are the top 5 vegetables that create this specific high-load situation?
Let us go through them because people need to know. Number 1 on that list is actually the most common. Raw spinach. Spinach is incredibly high in oxalates. In a slightly slower, older kidney, those oxalates can bind with calcium and form tiny, sharp crystals.
And that is what leads to kidney stones, right?
Yes, and even before stones form, it is just a very heavy filtering burden to carry every day.
Okay, so raw spinach is number 1. What is number 2?
Number 2 is kale. Kale is constantly promoted as the ultimate superfood. But for someone over 50, a raw kale smoothie can create a massive potassium surge. It is just too much, too fast for the kidneys to safely process.
That is truly eye-opening. What is the third one on the list?
Number 3 is beet greens. People love throwing the leafy green tops of beets into their juicers to avoid waste. But those leaves actually contain even more oxalates than the beetroots themselves.
I would have never guessed that in a million years.
Number 4 is Swiss chard. It is beautiful and nutritious, but it shares that exact same high oxalate and high potassium profile. It becomes a double threat if you consume it in large, raw quantities.
And what is the final vegetable we need to be cautious with?
Number 5 is rhubarb. Some people add raw rhubarb to health drinks for that tart flavor, but it has a significantly high oxalate content compared to other greens. It is incredibly tough on aging kidneys.
Looking at that list, those were the exact ingredients I was putting in my blender every single morning.
I think a lot of people are mentally looking through their fridge right now and feeling a little shocked. We have literally been told our whole lives to eat more of these specific greens.
And they are fine in moderation, cooked properly for healthy individuals. But when our kidney function naturally slows down, or if we blend them raw, they become a silent stressor.
This is truly a game changer for how we think about our daily habits after 50. So if these 5 present such a heavy challenge to our bodies, the obvious question is, what should we be eating instead? Where do we finally find the relief? Okay, I think we have all officially cleared out those high-load vegetables from our mental fridges. It is time to focus on the good news. Let us talk about restocking that fridge. Dr. Lee, what are the 5 go-to vegetables that are actually gentle on our kidneys? Which ones actually help reduce that daily burden?
When we look for kidney-friendly foods after 50, we want to think of 2 words: gentle and hydrating. We want foods that give our internal system a much-needed break. So number 1 on my list is cucumber. Cucumbers are mostly pure water, and they are incredibly low in potassium. Eating them is almost like giving your kidney filter a very gentle, soothing rinse.
That sounds so refreshing, honestly.
It really is a great feeling for the body. Number 2 would be bell peppers, especially the red ones. They are absolutely packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. But crucially, they keep the potassium load very low. Plus, they add that wonderful crunch and flavor that people miss when they change their diets.
I love red bell peppers. What is the third one on your list?
Number 3 is cabbage. As we get older, we absolutely need fiber, but rough fiber can sometimes irritate the gut. Cabbage provides a very gentle type of fiber that sweeps through your digestive tract smoothly. And when your gut works well, your kidneys actually have to process fewer waste toxins.
Oh, I did not realize they were connected like that.
Absolutely, the entire body is one connected ecosystem. Now, number 4 is cauliflower. This is an incredibly versatile vegetable. It has a very low mineral load, making it a perfect safe base for so many meals. And finally, number 5 is eggplant. Eggplant is rich in specific nutrients that protect the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys. And it does this without overwhelming the system at all.
I am so incredibly glad you mentioned eggplant. That has actually become my absolute favorite vegetable over the last few months.
Really? How do you usually prepare it?
Well, instead of frying it in heavy oil, I just steam it until it is nice and soft. Then I toss it with just a little bit of fresh garlic and a single drop of sesame oil. It is completely delicious. But honestly, the best part is just how I feel afterward.
Tell us about that feeling.
I just feel so much lighter all day. I do not have that heavy, bogged-down feeling in my legs and my stomach anymore. I actually have the energy to go back out into the yard with my grandson.
Just hearing you say that brings so much hope to this conversation. Because it proves that small, simple choices can make a massive difference in how we live. But Carol, you mentioned something really interesting just now about how you cook the eggplant. You specifically said you steamed it instead of frying it. Dr. Lee, we have this fantastic, actionable list of vegetables now. But does how we prepare and cook these good vegetables matter just as much as picking them? Carol just mentioned steaming her eggplant instead of frying it. Dr. Lee, we have a fantastic list of safe vegetables now. But does how we actually prepare them matter just as much in the end?
It is absolutely crucial. You can take a perfectly safe vegetable and make it a burden if you prepare it wrong. On the flip side, you can take a challenging vegetable and make it much safer. There are really just 3 golden rules of preparation that I teach my patients.
Okay, let us go through them. What is rule number 1?
Rule number 1 is exactly what we discussed earlier with Carol. You need to chew your food, not chug it. Please step away from the high-speed blender if you are over 50.
I have officially retired my blender for good. Trust me.
I think a lot of blenders are getting retired across America today. What is the second rule?
The second rule is for people who still really want to enjoy high-load greens like spinach. I call it the 60-second blanch.
The 60-second blanch?
Yes, potassium and oxalates are actually water-soluble compounds. So before you saute that spinach or add it to a meal, drop it into boiling water for exactly 1 minute. Then take it out and immediately pour that green water down the drain.
Wait, you want us to throw the cooking water away? I always thought that water held all the good vitamins.
That is a very common myth. In that single minute of boiling, you are actually leaching out up to 50% of the potassium load. You are throwing away the burden, but you are keeping the gentle fiber.
That is absolutely incredible. It takes just 1 minute in the kitchen to make a food safer for your body. Okay, what is the third golden rule?
Rule number 3 is all about timing your meals correctly. Your kidneys actually follow a circadian rhythm, just like your brain does. They are most active and efficient during the middle of the day. Because of that, you should make lunch your main vegetable-heavy meal.
And what about dinner?
You must keep your dinners much lighter and simpler. If you eat a massive salad or a water-heavy vegetable soup right before bed, your kidneys have to stay awake. They are forced to work all night long to process that liquid. That is exactly why so many older adults are getting up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom.
That makes perfect sense to me now. My body was literally working overtime while I was just trying to sleep.
Exactly, Carol. By shifting your heaviest vegetable intake to lunch, you give your kidneys a real chance to rest and repair overnight.
These rules are so clear and so easy to actually apply to our lives. It feels like we are finally getting the insider manual on how our own bodies work. But of course, everyone's health situation is unique. Dr. Lee, are there specific groups of people who need to be especially mindful of this advice? These rules are so clear and easy to follow. But of course, we know that every person watching has a unique health history. Dr. Lee, are there specific groups of people who need to be extra careful with this advice?
Absolutely, and this part is truly vital for safety. First, we have to talk about people on blood thinners like warfarin. Many green vegetables are very high in vitamin K. Vitamin K can actually change how well your blood thinner works. So please do not suddenly jump into eating more or less greens without talking to your doctor. Consistency is the key for you.
That makes so much sense. My doctor actually asked me about my diet the moment he saw my blood results.
He was right to do that, Carol. Now, the second group is anyone already diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. If you are in stage 3, 4, or 5, you are already under a doctor's care for a reason. At those stages, your diet must be strictly managed by your clinical team. Everything we are discussing today is for educational purposes. But for you, your doctor's specific advice is the only rule book you should follow.
It is about having a partnership with your healthcare provider.
Exactly. And finally, if you have high blood pressure or diabetes, listen closely. These conditions already put a lot of extra stress on your kidney filters every day. This makes choosing gentle vegetables even more important for you. Take this list to your next appointment and discuss it with your provider.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for such an important and responsible clarification. It is all about giving our bodies the best chance to thrive as we age. As we wrap up today, I want to come back to the emotional side of this journey. What I have really learned today is that this is not just about a list of good and bad foods. It is about learning to work with your body as it naturally changes. It is about moving from that feeling of confusion and frustration to a feeling of total clarity. Carol, looking back on that day in the hospital versus where you are now, what is the biggest change for you emotionally?
Honestly, it is hope. I do not feel like a victim of aging anymore. I am an active participant in my own wellness now. I got my energy back, but more importantly, I got my confidence back.
Dr. Lee, for everyone watching who might be feeling overwhelmed right now, what is your final thought for them?
Your body has an incredible capacity to find balance, no matter your age. You just have to give it a fighting chance. Reduce that daily burden, and your system will thank you in ways you can feel every single morning.
So tonight, we are not asking you to overhaul your entire life. We are just inviting you to do one small thing. Go to your kitchen and open the refrigerator. Look inside and make just one gentle choice for tomorrow's lunch. That is where it all begins. If this conversation helped you today, please do not keep it to yourself. Share this with someone you care about who might be struggling in silence. And please, leave us a comment below. Tell us one simple change you are going to make tomorrow. We are all in this journey together. Thank you for being part of this conversation. We will see you in the next video.